Okay, somebody hasn't been watching our videos. Once I move into living in the private, will I still have to pay federal and state taxes? I'm a union electrician. So my question to you is, are you signing a new contract saying I am a non-resident alien with a W-8 BEN with them? And even then, they may still require, because of how large they are, to deduct federal taxes from your check, because that's their history, and HR just does not know any different. Okay. Now, my question to you is, did you fill out a W-4? Did you fill out a W-9? Did you fill out anything to contract with the IRS? The answer is yes, and you did that as a state citizen. You're recontracting with the federal government and state government, and therefore you better file a return. So if you're coming out and you're becoming a state citizen, but you keep a leg in and you keep playing that game with them as a union employee, you have to do it exactly right. And it doesn't mean they're going to stop pulling out federal taxes on 100%, but we have had people come out, do a WABEN, and they don't reserve both state or federal or anything. They treat them like a undocumented worker, if you will. But a W-8BEN is the agreement with the IRS that you're a non-resident alien. Now, read the agreement, guys. So these people are the owner of the corporation, meaning the IRS. The United States corporation owns every corporation in this land, anything that's been registered. And so any corporation that is working under the United States corporation has to abide by the rules. So if the United States says, no matter what, WABEN or non-resident alien or person without social, if they're going to work for you, you need to pull out federal taxes. And that's just something that has been known to happen, but other companies sometimes don't do it. If it were me, I'd just simply contract with them as my private foundation. I know you can do that as a union worker. Other people have. So you take your private entity, you pay your union dues, and you become a subcontractor for a main contractor, and they write a check to your foundation directly. They can actually take a deduction because they're sending it to a private foundation, but it's also a vendor in which they would take a deduction for. There's no employment tax for them. There's none of that. And you can take 100% of that draw and just honor God with it. Okay. He owns everything on this earth. It's just, what is the structure in which you're putting things through? And are you contracting with the IRS when you are gainfully employed, or are you now contracting with the IRS using your private foundation? So we have people, one in specific I talk about because he's a federal agent, and I was excited to get him, and he called up and he had tens of thousands of questions, and I think I spun him, got him to a point where a relationship developed, got him to a point where he actually quit his job, went back as a private contractor for the federal government. Now he makes 3 times the amount of money that he made before. But they keep pressing. Now they're vaccine. So you got to think about all those things as we're coming into these interesting times ahead of us. But, you can be a citizen from Argentina and you might have to pay federal taxes if you contract with the IRS. But if you don't contract with the IRS and your entity does, meaning you can give that company a W-9, okay? And we create the W-9 for you, and we create the foundation for you. So you have the ability to use the documents from the Living in the Private program to send to your employer and say, I only want to be paid through here from now on. And you keep paying your union dues in the private. That is a very doable thing. And they will take the deduction on the W-9. They'll send you a 1099 based on that W-9, and you have no lawful requirement to file a return on that. That's just a fact in law, okay? Honor God with that. You have to. And that's how you can perform upon and keep the benefit of being under God and having those protections of not only man's law, but God's law.